Major myths about the brain. Brain myth 1. Memory loss is a natural, inevitable part of aging. Brain myth 2. The best way to determine brain power is with intelligence tests. Brain myth 3. Unless you get knocked out, brain trauma is negligible. Brain myth 4. You can will away depression. Your anatomical fuse box, your brain, has the power to control everything your body does. Your brain flips all of your body's switches. Most important, though, your brain is what makes you human, because it gives you the power to dream, imagine, reason, understand square roots, fall in love, fall in lust, invent flying cars, feel sorry about calling the boss a 4-letter word, feel even sorrier for doing it to his face, joke, pray, and do the billions of things that so many other species can't. Just like a house built in the 1950s has a different wiring capacity from one built during this decade, your brain has different power capacities as it ages. See, an older home could function fine with its original electrical system when all it had to handle was a refrigerator, a coffee pot, and a little Ed Sullivan. But if you were to try to pump up an old house with computers, surround sound, and your 8-year-old's video game setup, the strain would shock and overload the electrical system, blow a fuse, start a fire, and burn down your whole house. On the other hand, a young house is equipped to withstand all of the demands of modern society, so it can supply power to everything. Your brain works the same way. In fact, most brains don't age very well under normal conditions. Younger brains are equipped to handle overloads with only an accidental glitch here and there. But older brains need upgrading to avoid neurological blown fuses and major power outages. Luckily, cognitive upgrading doesn't require a subcontractor. It's a do-it-yourself project that has many wonderful outcomes. It will keep your brain function high throughout your life. It will minimize the deterioration that takes place as part of the normal aging process. And it will help regrow brain cells to keep your mind as sharp as a coral reef. Many people equate brains with computers. They process a lot of information, and in older models, they freeze a lot. Of course, there are many differences between brains and computers, but perhaps the most important difference is that your brain doesn't automatically come with any kind of maintenance policy, especially the lifetime variety. It's up to you to provide the technical support that keeps your hardware and software running as smoothly as possible. We'll be your help desk, but it's up to you to learn what can make your system crash and how you can prevent it from happening. Before we look at some of the most common age-related neurological problems, let's explore the inside of your mind to get a sense of how the wiring works. About 80% of your brain is actually water, but the rest of it is taken up by both physical and biochemical structures. While it's not an extraordinary organ in terms of size, it is in terms of power. Making up about 2% of a 150-pound person weight-wise, your brain uses about 25% of the oxygen and sugar that your body circulates for nutrition. In general, a brain's anatomical structures are divided into two kinds of functions: executive, intellectual type functions, and reptilian, based in movement and raw emotion. Let's take a quick look into the different parts of your body's power source. Skull. Because the brain has the consistency of a hard-boiled egg, it has to be protected by a skull, even at birth. At birth, the skull consists of folded plates to help get the body through the birth canal. Then the plates connect and calcify after birth. Brainstem. Connected to your spinal cord, it's responsible for controlling many involuntary functions, such as breathing, digestion, and heart rate. Cerebellum. It's responsible for muscle coordination, reflexes, and balance. Cerebrum. Much of your brain function takes place in the cerebral cortex, or outer layer of the cerebrum. It's the assembly line of human thought, where all the heavy work gets done. Left hemisphere. The left controls your concrete side, speech, writing, language, and calculation. Right hemisphere. The right controls your imaginative side, spatial ability, music, and intuition. The frontal lobes control such things as planning, personality, behavior, and emotion. The area allows us to tell right from wrong and to help us think abstractly. Neurons. You have 100 billion neurons in your brain, which, if stretched out in length, would reach 30,000 miles. Each of these nerve cells contains pieces of information that need to be transmitted to another neuron so that your body can function properly. Neurotransmitters. These are the chemical messengers in your brain, like baseballs being tossed back and forth. When you turn a neuron on, the neurotransmitters ring or blare out to help send or receive information between neurons. When you experience neurological disorders, the cause often stems from a flaw in the neurotransmitter. If it can't transport one piece of information to another neuron, then you can't know how to complete a specific task.